Welcome to NWA Cane Corsos podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another show, NWA Cane Corsos, where we talk all things dogs. As soon as you come in, like, share, subscribe. I see y'all coming in pretty heavy. What's up, Asiatic Soldier, Web Bay? What's happening? What's happening? So tonight, I know this is an intriguing title, so I expect quite a few people in tonight. We got a surprise guest. Surprise guest host tonight. So we got brother Tony Scandy in the house. What's up, Tony?
What's going on, sir? How's it going?
Oh man, we in it to win it. We in it to win it. And our main guest tonight is our brother from another mother, brother Brian. What's cracking?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Salute everybody in the chat. So Tony, let's just start with you. Since you guest hosted with me, can you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself if they don't know you?
Just been a Cane Corso breeder for about 30-something plus years. Finished almost 200-something champions. Helped a lot of breeders get started. Helped them set up their kennels. My theory is if you help people set up a good kennel, quality dogs, it's better for the breed. There's way too many people out there, as we talked on the last one, breeding some horrific dogs in all breeds, not just Corsos. There's everybody in the world wants to make $1 million. And they start up with some really, really horrible stock, go out to these breeders that are misinforming them, miseducating them, teaching them stuff that's just totally just way, way off base. It's horrible for the breeds, man. I'm sure he sees it in his breed too, the staffs. Joe, you've seen it. You've talked to a lot of different people.
Oh, yeah. Brian, what's up, brother? Can you give him an introduction?
Sure, I'm Brian Austin. I've been involved with the Staffordshire Terrier for about 25 years now, breeding and anything from showing to hunting to performance shows, canine events and stuff like that. Just trying to help people along the way. I tell everybody it's not my job or anything like that. It's just my passion, my love for the breed, and it's just kept me moving for this long. And that's the reason why I do it. And I think a lot of people, they like Tony mentioned, I think they see the dollar and cent side of it, or they feel like they need to make something back, return. And if you go into anything, expecting just to walk back with your pockets full of money or whatever, you're probably not in it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for real. Well, Brian, you made a video the other day, and man, I'm sure it ruffled a lot of feathers.
I got a couple calls and a few texts, I'm not gonna lie, but hey, if the shoe fits, right? No, but really, it's a lot of this stuff needs to be said and talked about, usually, real dogmen, real recognize real, right? We got that. But it's honestly, it's for and I'm sure, y'all get the same calls, the people calling you up and they're telling you this sad story about, this dog just either riddled with health problems or the promises that a breeder made that was far from the truth. And the reality is, there's so many different factors, but, the breeders didn't know what they were talking about, or they were just trying to make a buck. So they're telling them, the old Carver way, like they said, if you want a dog with whatever pedigree, I got it. Or you want a dog that jumps high, I got it. If you want one that can't jump, I got that too. It's in the same litter, so
They got everything.
yeah,
Right.
you got it.
No, that's absolutely it, man. That's the truth.
Yeah,
It happens all the time.
it does. And real breeders, if anything, I'm more, I don't want to come off because you never know, but I get more, man, this dog is so much more than you said. Like, you didn't tell me, you did not. And I rather them, the dog speak for itself,
Right.
and I rather, if anything, people are like, man, you talk, you under talked it, you talked it down, like they're blown away, and that's just who I am. And it's mainly just being honest, because you don't know, you hope for the best.
Right.
And the more people, drill me and want exact things, the more I do step back and say, well, I don't know. I can't guarantee that. And if you want to go to somebody else, you can, because, I'm happy with them, but I don't know what your idea of a good dog is and stuff. But the problem is, because, real breeders are humble and people don't see that, you got these newbies or greenhorns or scam artists or whatever you want to call them, and they're, promising them the world, and
Right.
Mine's the best. Mine's, oh yeah, I can get you that. It'll do this. It'll do that, and it doesn't. And a few years later, when you have either, from hip surgeries to skin issues to you name it, you got problems, or just temperament issues, or the dog just doesn't perform the way you expect. And now you go back to the breeder, they're either gone because they've closed up shop, or they're willing they don't want to talk to you. They, y'all know it. We see it time and time again.
They block people's numbers. I mean,
that's a big thing. Yes, sir.
Nail replacement. They ain't replacing shit. They'll just block a number and don't answer the call no more.
Yeah, undone. Yeah.
It's sad.
So with being that now that you guys been in a long time, I don't know, I guess word of mouth and just a lot of other things besides the internet made the breeder years ago. But now the new way is you got to come through the internet, you got to come through your Instagram, your YouTube. A lot of people going to act like they have more experience than what they really do have. What are some of the dangers in this?
You want me to go first? Him to go first? You want me to go first?
Go, Tony. You can take it.
Okay. I mean, with what you're talking about, I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head. It's extremely, extremely unfortunate for all breeds, not just our breed, all breeds, whatever it is. This internet shit, this TikTok, Instagram, I mean, we laugh. It's a joke. It's Instagram famous, TikTok famous, even Facebook sometimes. I mean, people make Facebook pages. Some people make websites that are absolutely insane. It's nothing about what they're really about. It's nothing about what they really did. Majority of these people, these Instagram famous people, these TikTok famous people, they've been in it 6 months, 2 years, and they just know how to work the internet. I mean, they're a geek squad, maybe. Put them on a geek squad, send them to Best Buy to get a job. They shouldn't be raising dogs, breeding dogs, because they don't know a goddamn thing of what they're doing. It's horrible. They're putting out the worst shit in the world. I mean, I see dogs coming through my trainers that are, they're like, listen, Tone, you got to help us out. We're going to show you the pedigree, this and that. The dog's temperaments are a disaster. There's no fixing it. The breeders won't stand behind it. And I got to tell them, listen, just put it down. I mean, it's you're not going to fix it. It's extremely unstable. Their breeder's not standing behind anything. Well, I got it from this place. I got it from that place. It's this import shit. They don't even know the import shit they're talking about. Just because it's an import doesn't mean shit either. I mean, there's unfortunately a ton of import scam artists too that are sending their worst shit to America. We see it. I mean, we see it in the showroom. What in the world are they doing with this shit? How did you send that over here? You want it to represent you? It's terrible. But yeah, TikTok, Instagram, it's the most dangerous shit there is. I get people that buy dogs from these people, and then they come to me 6 months later. Man, I didn't know who you were. I couldn't find you. There's a reason you couldn't find me. I didn't want you. I don't want to sell to the people that is just looking on the internet. They saw this dog walking in the park or walking in the pet store, and they want a Corso now. They're going to go to the internet and find out it. First person they're going to call, or maybe the second person answers the phone. They're going to sell them what a breed expert they are and all the shit that they've done, which is normally nothing with these people. Instagram and TikTok's the first place. They're buying these dogs. Then they're calling me, and I'm sure you're getting it too, Brian, with your breed. They're calling you with problems. Oh, we got all these. What do you think we should do? I don't know who the hell you are. What do you mean? What do I think you should do? You You didn't get a dog from me. What are you talking about? Why are you talking to me? Well, I called a bunch of the people in these different groups, and everybody's saying, call you. You're the expert. Well, you're one of the top breeders. You didn't call me in the beginning. Where did you get the dog? They tell me the name. I'm like, I ain't never even heard of them, man. Well, what makes you think that they were a top breeder? Well, man, they got 50,000 likes, 50,000 people on Instagram, or 100,000 people on YouTube. Most of the people, 100,000 people on YouTube, don't know jack shit about the breed, man. They found a way to market it. Listen, even with the YouTube, and Joe does YouTube, we're on YouTube right now, so it kind of sounds funny me saying that. Now, here's the catch. I've been asked, and I'm sure you probably have too, Brian, by multiple people that are these big-time people on YouTube, oh, man, can you please do an interview with me? I want to do an interview with you, man. I'm not stupid. You want to do an interview with me because of who I am. It's going to draw you up, another 100,000 people because of who I am. The reason I do it for Joe, I watch everybody. I watch all these other people. I like what he does. Joe's doing good things. I don't want no money from Joe. Joe didn't offer me any money. He talked to me, he said, man, you're really, I'd love to have you on the show. Every time I've talked to you, you've been honest. You've told the truth. You call it like it is, man. Would you have interest? I said, man, you know what, Joe? I've been telling people no for the last 6, 7, 8 years, however long this shit's been out there. You want me on? I'll do it. For you, I'll do it because I like what he does. He's getting real information out there. He's not interviewing people that don't know jack shit. And he might have got 1 or 2 of them in the beginning, figured it out fast and got rid of them. Gone. The shit's over with. Because he's got people calling him nonstop. They want to be interviewed. They want to, talk to him. Well, they want to talk to him because he's become a little bit famous, and his page is becoming pretty famous. And people are like, hey, who's this NWA? This guy's giving real information. Let's follow him. I'll share his shit. When this is done, I'm going to share it all over my stuff. My people all share because it's going to be real. We're not going to share stuff that's not real. What you're going to talk about, Brian, is going to be facts. What I'm going to talk about is facts. This is helpful to people that are looking to get dogs. This is helpful to real breeders that are educated, that know what they're doing. And you hate to be that guy, hey, man, we got to call these people out. But here's the thing. We got to call them out because it's bad for the other people that are being taken advantage of. That's what you feel bad for, man, the people that are being taken advantage of. Some people are like, well, man, don't you want to do it? You'll sell a ton of dogs. My phone don't stop ringing all day, every day. I don't need to sell a ton of dogs through your YouTube channel. That's what you guys are about, and that's what your people are about. Even these clubs, like they got these big clubs. All it is about sales. They want to hold these positions so they can tell the person that calls, oh, I'm the president, I'm the vice president.
Yeah, the monopoly. Yeah, you got puppies over there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you still don't know jack shit of what you're doing, but you're the vice president. I bought the dog from this person because they were the secretary of the club. They don't know shit still. What was the credentials? They ain't done shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The shit they set up. It's very unfortunate.
Those who can't make a club. No,
it's insane, man.
Yeah,
I won't be a part of the club, man.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, man. Exactly right. And or like we turn them down because they're new. They're not, or they're telling me what they're going to do and how they're going to raise it, or I don't believe in crate training. I don't believe in all this stuff that you don't need the dog. And but then, like you said, they turn to somebody else, anybody that'll sell it to them. And and that's the only reason why I started doing a few of these to people like Joe that are trying to actually better the breed. And you're right, people will be next. I'm sure he's gotten offers. Here's money. Please just let me get on there so I can sell puppies. And I was just getting madder, and I would get calls and people telling me, well, this guy or that guy, or he did an interview, or he did. And I'm like, I'm sitting here bitching and complaining, but I'm because I'm like, I'm staying out of that crap. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be quiet anymore. I'm going to speak up. Joe wants me on. I'm going to tell it like it is.
It's a good thing.
Because I'm getting the calls, and I know you are too. That's like, and like you said, and then I'm a nice guy. Like I'm helping them out. I'm telling them, because the other breeder left them high and dry and stuff.
Blocked their numbers.
And the same thing with like. I used to not take any deposits. That's all. Now I it just depends. Right. But these people, these other breeders, man, they'll want to get a deposit, even if it's a year or two out. They got your money. They hold you. And I don't care what people say, and I don't even keep a list. I mean, I have per se a list, but by the time you start going down it, people can say what they want. Oh, they won't wait. They're constantly, if I tell them and I'm just truthful, this litter is not for you. Okay, but I'll wait here. Can I give you money? No, I don't. I'm not like that. I don't want to have to
Do the
And
same thing you
sure
do.
enough, yeah, call them back in 6
Right.
months or whatever.
You got something.
Sorry, I got
Right.
one from. And then, by the way, what is this? This rash on them, or what is this, or what is And I just,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's terrible, man. And not to mention they paid more money. They got sucked. It's
Exactly.
Father's a grand champion, show winner, #1 stud dog in the in the USA and all this stuff. It's an import, like you said, from.
Right.
I don't give a crap. That don't mean nothing. It's. And I ask them the simple questions like, "Oh, well, how was the dog when you met him, or how was this, or how was the father, or how?" And they tell me stupid stuff like, "Well, one, I don't know, or it was frozen semen from this dog somewhere." So you don't know nothing about the parents. And the stud that collected semen from died at 9 years old. But he was kept in a crate and was shown. But we're still pumping the litters out with him, and he's having all these health issues.
Right.
From there's 2 or 3 dogs. They look pretty, and that's it. And I don't even think they look pretty, because I think pretty is a pretty dud. And if they don't do crap, it's crap.
Right.
But yeah, man, it gets me bold, because I get tired of it.
Right.
Yeah,
I know. Do you ever get to call in your breed? Like, you get the same calls like that? One of the craziest ones, and I feel bad for so many people. They'll call me and tell me, "Oh, I ended up getting a dog, man, but here's the problem. When it flew in, it looked great, in the pictures that they sent, although the tail was slammed down. I should have noticed that it was scared to death, because the tail was slammed to its ass, petrified with his own owner handling it, where the stud dog's tail was slammed to its ass that they're breeding, which normally means, and I'm sure in your breed, same thing, means it's scared to death. It's unstable. It's timid. But they get puppies sent out all over. Well, it wouldn't come out of the crate. We had to take the crate apart to get it out, and then it took off and went to hide under my couch and put its nose down and cut its forehead, because it was pushing, trying to go under there. And sometimes in the Corso, some of these people out there, and some of these people that are even the supposed top breeders, well, I got it from such and such because she was the, this part of the club and this part of, the breed standard and all this shit. But the dog just, it sprayed shit all over, because it was just fear. My vet said it was fearful. And, I took it to the vet, and it's still acting like that. And the breeder told me it was my fault. You did it. It's something you did. It's the way you raised it. I was like, you didn't raise it yet. You just got it. You didn't do anything to it. And they told him, give it some time. Just give it time. It'll get better. It'll get better. You'll see. And then, 2-3 weeks later, it's not getting any better. What a lot of these breeders want people to do, and the breeders in our breed to do, and the people, they want the people they're selling the dogs to rehabilitate their mentally unstable basket case dog, and tell them that that's just normal for the breed. In a Corso, if that dog ain't confident and fearless and ain't scared of shit, and great with everybody, anybody, it ain't a real Corso. In our breed, I'm sure in your breed, the staff's got to be the same way, correct? Confident.
Yeah, well, and that's what I preach too. It's not even about confirmation as much. They're too busy worried about a look. When in establishable Terrier, it's what's in here. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to make it or break it. I don't give a crap if the ears standing up or whatever. I mean, and obviously when we have standards and stuff we breed to, we try to, if there's several in the litter, but in the grand scheme of things, I tell everybody, it's like a Corvette that you pull the motor out and put a Honda motor in. It ain't a race car anymore. It ain't a Corvette. It might look like it, or it might whatever. Yeah, I don't want to race that. You can't race it. You can't do nothing with it. So it's the same thing I see, man. It's sad.
Right, and I'm glad you guys coming on and talking about it, because one of the telltale signs that I see, especially on YouTube, they really don't have a deep bag when it comes to dogs. They talk about the same shit over and over and over again. But since the camera work is good, since they really good salesmen, things like that, they just pump up views.
Well, and then something, you mentioned a good part with videos, and I've even seen the ones where, they sent me a video and it's a 5-second clip. And I try to tell people this too, because I get a lot, and I do get it, because there's so many scams out there and stuff. But I've done this long enough where I get real ill of people saying, send me, all these videos and this and that. And it's like, at the end of the day, you got to trust me, because then they're trying to tell me which dog is right for them. And again, that's a big mistake. When a breeder lets you just say, here, whatever you want type stuff, that's a red flag, people. Like, the breeder, if he doesn't know what's to get and what's not in the litter for you, then listen to it. I can easily set, I want a tough one. I can have a quick, 5-second video of one getting in it with another one when the whole time it's in the corner shivering, pissing on itself. But the 5 seconds, it started to be really badass. Yeah, and people don't understand. If I was one of these corrupt guys, I could so manipulate with a 5-second clip,
Oh, yeah. We call it dopamine hits.
Exactly.
Yeah. It sounds like you do kind of what I do too. And, like I do mentor a lot of people and a lot of other good breeders that are very ethical.
Oh,
they
yeah.
follow my standards. And the way I am with the people is, if you're not going to do what I do, I'm not going to talk good about you. Sometimes I don't talk about you at all. But if you don't stand behind the dogs like I stand behind them, temperament-wise, health-wise, everything, you're not going to get a good recommendation from me. And a lot of people, I'm not even going to just keep my mouth shut. If you say their name, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm not going to hold my tongue. If you ask me about it, I'm going to tell you. You shouldn't ask if you didn't want it. I got this dog from so-and-so. What do you think? And I made a lot of good friends that way too, where, because I was just honest with them. I'm not trying to start stuff, but you ask me and I'll tell you about the grandparent was a man biter. That's not a thing in our breed. And so-and-so sold it just to make money, or this one had an health issue. So they sold it to cash out. And
absolutely,
all this stuff. I know things because, like you've been in it long enough. You know what's going on and what bloodlines, and this bloodline's notorious for this. Be careful,
That's a fact. The bloodline. It's funny that you say that, Joe. I can tell a story about Joe. It's funny when he first called me the first time. He started talking to me a little bit. Didn't even tell me anything about any issues. Just was looking for a dog, and we started discussing stuff. And then he started telling me a little bit about the character. I said, "Oh man, I can read I can tell you what your pedigree is."
Yeah.
And he said his wife was in the background. She's like, "How in the hell did he just do that? Did you show him the pedigree?" He's like, "I didn't show the man shit. I told him exactly what it was." Right. And it's the way it is. Like, these pedigrees, it's the same shit all the time. Once in a while, they'll get something that's halfway stable, but it still ain't great. But majority of the unstable stuff in our breeds go back to these same pedigrees. And I got so many people, and you probably have it too, that I've sold dogs to people that have already got dogs from other breeders, and they're just totally unstable stuff that they should have never put with these certain families. Like it sounded like you already said it. You check out the family, you find out what it's going into, children, what are you looking for, what's your experience. I'm 30 some years in. I don't have dogs that go to rescue, and you probably don't either. I guarantee you don't, because if you're doing that, your dogs don't go to rescue. Because you hit the right dog for the right family. And it's still, even though we say we hit the right dog for the right family, there's still that potential. It might not be the right one, but the difference is what makes us different is, and I'm sure yourself too, if it's not the right one and we see some problems in that family with that dog, maybe it's a little too much for them or not enough for them, listen, hey, let me take the dog back. I'm going to get you a replacement immediately. It's not the right dog. It's not what you asked for.
Yeah.
I try my ass off to hit it on the head.
I know.
You hit on the head, you get him right.
And sometimes people just say the right things. I had a guy last year, and I like to think I can read anybody, and I kind of think maybe I should have known, but I already have experience, already this, I'm military, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. And can you help me out? And so, all right. And it wasn't 3 days. I said, where do you live? And I went and got the dog and took it back. I said, you don't know the first thing. It didn't want to go in the crate, and it wasn't scared. It was F you, I ain't going in the crate. And I was like, just push.
He had no idea what to do.
I ain't. You don't do that. You let the dog do what it wants. You whatever. I said, man, you don't know. This dog's going to run all over you. And so I went, then what happens if they are walking it and it gets in or whatever? I'm like, no, I'm not going to have my name out there, not my dog. I said, let me come and get it. Handing him his money. What's this? No, man, you hang. I want to get a deposit for another one or this. I said, no, sir, nope. And I left.
Hey,
it's funny you say military.
I'm sorry, Tony. I want to say something about what you said earlier. Those of you who know me know I got my dogs from Lamont and Tony, my Corsos, right? And then when I went outside that comfort, that circle, boy, I should have took some Vaseline with me. Hey man, look, I'm gonna tell you, I'll be honest, I don't care. But it goes back to YouTube. I was watching YouTube videos. I got wrapped all up in that Oh, this the real dog. Oh, it's rustic motherfucker. Here, boys. You got to have all that other shit is ready out there now. Man, shit. When they get you on the back end and they point you to those breeders, you're gonna get some shit dogs, man. Literally shit dogs.
And I've even seen this. I have to say it. I know some breeders out there that sold some dogs, and these people are on YouTube and stuff and wherever else and posting pictures. And they've screwed them where, they've come in with health issues. And I don't know what this is, why, but if they're scared or if they think it's a representation of them, but they hide the problem that the dog had, and they'll post these pretty pictures, and then people comment and they'll stretch the truth and, oh, he's good, he's great, he's whatever. And then they might even get rid of the dog. But I'm sorry, they need to call the person out. You send a dog, absolutely. You import it and it can't even walk. Like I've seen them where they're showing me and they're sending me stuff, videos of it. Can you believe this? And the puppy can't even walk. It's so emaciated, and then it has a cherry eye, and the eyes about to bulge out. And the breeder sent pictures from the side where the one item wasn't. I'm like, man, call that motherfreaker out. You know what I mean? And I just, no, I don't want to cause nothing, or I don't want to, but then everybody's like, dang, look who just got one of those from that breeder, man. That's awesome. That's great. And I tell people, and like I said, they ask me, I give them my opinion. Or I told some people they want to breed. I said, I wouldn't mix it with that because you're going to have problems. Right. And I don't know if it's like you. And I hate it because I used to, I felt like at one time I wanted to, the way I got into breeding was totally different though, because I felt there was a real hole in it and stuff. I don't want to, everybody can do their own thing, right? But at the end of the day, there's so much knowledge out there to be shared and information. Right. Why are you going to start, like some people think I'm just going to cross this and not know what's in a line. Like you said, if it's just timidness and shyness, why are you going to double up on that? Or why are you going to breed and even open the door for that trash to be put in a line? Exactly. And I don't get it, man. It's sad. It's ridiculous.
But you know what? And what you're talking about and what I say about it, it's just greed, man. It's these people are greedy as hell. Yeah. It's all about money to them. Some of the people, and I hate to even say this, it's just stupidity. It's just they're that stupid that they don't learn, they don't educate themselves, and they listen to one of these jackasses that preach that shit's okay. And Joe, all the jackasses I'm talking about. Oh, I hate to say names. I don't want to get you sued on here. So a lot of people in our breed.
I put a disclaimer up so y'all can say whatever the hell you want.
Well, I posted something before this, and this is kind of what started it. Joe's talking about. Okay. One person even had a good point. He said, and is this 100%? And I'm sure it, guys that's probably been doing it, for a while, almost as long as you or whatever, and they still shit. They're still screwing people. They're the biggest scam artists, and there's plenty of those as well out there too. It doesn't even have to be the newbie, it doesn't have to be the greenhorn. And hopefully the greenhorns can see this and say, I don't need to be that way. And they can, find a mentor because that's what they need. That's going to be ethical and then be honest and not kennel blind when they, like you mentioned, I think earlier, maybe it was before we got on, you can't just, if you can start in the line of something and I see it too. And you said you've seen it too, where, I got this bloodline and man, I realize it's trash now, but I got so much invested in it. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just cross it with one of yours, Brian, or I'll just cross it with one of Tony's, and then it'll fix it. No, an ethical breeder or one that do it right would just wash their hands of it, cull the litter. If it's not bad issues, then find them pet homes. If it's serious, then put them down. I'm not putting a man biter in somebody's hands for my breed. That's just. But these, no, and I've gotten where, and I hate it, but I have to limit registration because. Unless say somebody gets one and it might, this hasn't happened, but let's say it does, it bites their kids. Right. And they're like, I want it out of my house. Right. So I'm going to just sell it to whoever. I have a steadfast dog. Here's the papers. Come and get it, breed it to whatever. And I can make money. Then the peddlers jump out of the woodwork and they're breeding. It ain't my name on it. Like it's the breeding was, but it's not my standard of breeding. I would have called that dog,
Right.
it's a problem.
100%.
And so I have to make sure those don't go in the wrong hands. It's just, and then I had people that, hey, I'm so-and-so, or get their neighbor or friend or cousin or girlfriend or whatever calling me, trying to backdoor it, to get, and then it's, but then they start asking about breeding papers and all this. And, just be honest and upfront with me. I want to help people, but at the end of the day, they don't want to help themselves,
Right, exactly. No, I know you're calling it right. We got the same issue in our breed. And there's breeders out there that have been doing it as long as I have. And here's the craziest thing. The years that I have, I got, and I'm not going to say any names, but people that have been doing as long as me, one of the people specifically, maybe two different people, the people that have been in this breed a long time, they're still out there. They're still breeding like crazy. A couple of them have got put on these YouTube videos where these other people mention their names. They were about to go under because they screwed so many people over and their dogs were such basket cases. They were about to be done, man. They were it was time to throw the towel in. And some other idiot that doesn't know jack shit about the breed made a YouTube video on documentary TV and mentioned these people's names in it. And they're kicking ass, 15,000, 20,000. I've had people contact me, dogs with full-blown hip dysplasia, unstable as hell. These people have sold dogs 15, 20 grand. And when they call them to talk to them about it, it's not my problem. I don't know what to tell you. Sure, dog, you don't want it? I'll bring it back. I got a bunch of other people that'll breed it. And they do have other people that'll breed it because these are the bottom of the barrel, but they've been doing it as long as me. So people look at them as, they, 30-something years involved. They got to be great. Like you just made the comment, they're not great, man. It's unfortunate that all the years doesn't mean jack shit. No. Those same people have the worst name in the country. I have one of the best names in the country for the reason that I stand behind everything. My temperaments are phenomenal. The health is there. The hips, I do it all. If there's any problems with anything from me, and it could be minor shit, it's a replacement. Quick, I don't play around. Temperaments especially, I'll take the dogs back, and I'll tell the people a lot of times, and I probably haven't had to replace in the last 10 years, maybe 5 or 6 dogs. Prior to that, when this breed was in the country 30-some years ago, they were hot, man. There was some really hot shit that we had to call a lot of dogs, and they weren't just hot, stable hot. They were hot, not stable, man. They were basket cases. And that's the kind of shit that a lot of people still think I breed that stuff because it was some of our old stuff when we first started. And people are like, yeah, Scandy got all that stuff. He done never imported. I imported more dogs than anybody in the country. These jackasses don't even know because I don't have a website that tells everybody.
You don't tell them anything.
People ain't never called them. And I don't really care if they know. Like the people like.
Well, and that's the thing. You shouldn't have to. But it's sad because it's gotten to that. I want to tell people about certain things, but in reality, if I said, I call this one for being whatever, then they're going to associate, all my dogs are that way. No, they're not, because my standards are up here. Exactly. And if I have one, and let's not be ignorant, it can pop up any time. It does. It's what you do when it does that makes the difference between a breeder and just somebody, a peddler, just somebody making, whatever it is. There's that's the difference. But I don't know. And people glorify all this other stuff, and it's ridiculous. I get people get on to me and they start going and they ask me, it's just whatever. There's a dog out there that's a top producer and everything. And I swear I know so many litters where the cleft palate is just throwing cleft palates left and right. And I'm just saying that they started talking. I said, what would you do? I said, I'd call the dog. As simple as that. At least for the breeding program, that dog wouldn't touch a bitch in my yard. I mean, at the end of the day, each to each their own, but standards are different for different people.
Money. Those people
and when someone comes to you, I'm sure if I came to you and you said, I don't have what you want, but actually, and I tell people that's actually the best sign you can get. If you talk to a breeder and they don't have what you want, then you need to wait for what they want. Too many times I tell people that they talked to somebody else and they had it, and then it's the horror stories for as long as the dog is alive, or until it dies or something.
Never ending story. It's insane.
Brian, you said something also in that video too. I mean, you straight up said, you said podcast, y'all got to be even, accountable.
Oh yeah. So, well, and it's, and Tony it made me think of that again too, where these guys are just, who knows what, if they're offering money, or if they see, I can sell puppies and move puppies this way, or get some kind of, maybe recognition, or people will send me money if they see me. So they're getting on here, and then you got a new podcast person or old or whatever, it doesn't matter. And maybe they're just, I need content. I need to get content out there. And this guy, he's willing to get on here and talk. So let me give him his fame. And they need to ask the tough questions, like, how many years have you done this? What's your breeding practice? I get a lot of people that will talk about, we'll say inbreeding, right? Well, let's use that. Someone might get on a podcaster and talk for an hour on inbreeding, how terrible it is, how bad, or they might even say they did it one time and it was bad. But like Tony said, they might have inbred on, he didn't say this, but I'm just saying, what if it was those shitty breeds, bloodlines that they inbred on, that were pissing themselves in the corner, you're going to get more garbage. You don't know what you're doing, and they're giving advice on something that doesn't know jack crap about. And then I shouldn't say, I won't, and I will say it. I see a lot of stuff on Embark, right? I think it's a great tool, but if you got to sell your dogs just because they're health genetic tested, then go somewhere else too, because that should be a given. And even if it's not, breeders should be able to know how to. That's a tool, right?
Right.
That's not a guarantee. And I'm sick of that, man. That don't mean garbage if your dog is trash too. It could be the healthiest dog in the world. You know what I mean? But that's their ticket to sell something. It could have skin problems, temperament issues, but they got that Embark that tells them they're clear on whatever. That stuff rubs me the wrong way.
You know what's funny, man? When you're saying that comment, it matches up in our breed. There's a woman breeder specifically. She's new to the breed, man. She's just, I seen her place before. It was a garage, disgusting. The backyard was some bullshit, fences thrown up against each other. And she claims that she's some great breeder and misses ethics and stuff. But, talking about her male, her 136-pound male. I had her, she came by one time coming from a dog show with a handler friend of mine. And I pulled the scale out on purpose and had it on my basketball court.
That's the only time I would do. I'm not kidding.
Exactly. I was pretending I was weighing my dog.
Yeah.
I knew the dog wasn't 103, 104 pounds, 136. I'm like, this little tiny ass dog. And so when they come to the house, I pull my dog off it, who was legit. It was blue at the time, 146. So on a scale. And I'm, oh man, you guys are here. You know what? You should put your dog on a scale, man. I'd love to see what he weighs. Started like, I was at shows, and I was traveling for the last 2 days, so he probably lost some weight. I said, well, yeah, I mean, maybe he lost a little weight, but don't want him. He's still got to be close to 136, 134, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And then she actually walked him on a scale, 104 pounds.
Good for that, but yeah.
Pounds in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
People, man, all over the country.
I can't stand that either. And that's another one. They tell owners what they want to hear. I got this or that. I get the same thing. You want a tall dog? I got one. I tell them exact weights and exact height and stuff, and they're telling me, oh, but blah 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 I want that, and then they get the dog. It's hilarious. I see it in person, and I got this for so and so, and the thing, it's little short, this barrel chested show dog.
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy, man.
Here's how honest I am with people. I got to tell you guys, it's a funny story about the same person I was telling you about with the jacked up backyard and the garage. The girl used to whelp litters for me. I let her whelp like 2 litters. One of them, she did an incredible job. I think her husband was doing it. The one she did, she killed like 13 puppies in her garage. Damn. I go over there, her husband, so she was sleeping for the last 13 hours. I get in the garage, it's like 130 degrees in there. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, it's hot as it's 98 degrees outside. 100 degrees. I mean, you just killed my whole goddamn litter. Never even went and told anybody. Never told anybody a story about it. She's new. She's still clueless. She's still new, but she acts like she's some expert. The internet and all this shit. She's famous, and so the health testing shit you were talking about. So instead of doing real health testing, you might spend $2-3 grand. She's spending $60 a shot and doing these little bullshit health tests and blasting them all over the internet. Oh yeah, look at this. These tests, this, that, they're all coming clear. There ain't no dogs in the country coming messed up with this shit. It's $60.
And there's ways that you can screw people with that too.
Right.
I mean, if I'm mixing, let's just, and I'll go on these people that are mixing stuff or whatever. That I I could DNA a dog that's pure, you know, and say this is Ralphie or this is Spike or this is whatever.
And they don't know the difference.
At the end of the day, yeah, that crap, you know, and that's funny you mentioned about that you know, person you had. I had someone do me, well, they were hitting me up on Messenger asking me these weird freaking dog questions, you know, like about this dog or about that dog or what was you saw this dog. And someone sent me a screenshot of some group, and this girl's going off, you know, telling everybody, you know, she's saying it like first person. She's experienced it. She saw this dog. She did this. And then they're asking me stuff like, she's asking me, what would you do? You know, you get a bitch that's coming in or whatever type stuff. And I'm trying to help somebody out, I think. And she's posting this stuff, answering people's questions on this Facebook group. Like she's an expert, you know, everything I say, she's asking me their questions. And I'm like, what the heck? You know, like ridiculous, man. Yeah, that's what she was doing to get her you know, clout or whatever.
Credibility. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
People like that.
I tell you what happens to me a lot, like y'all was mentioning that since the show's doing fairly good, it's a small show, but it's an effective show. Everybody know about it, even though it's small. I have a lot of guys reaching out to me now, but I even have guys, when they reach out to me, they start selling themselves, and they start selling themselves with information that they heard exactly from this show.
Oh yeah, I'm
like,
sure.
Dude, I don't want to ask the question. You answered it word for word, just like on the show. And and that's what they do. But then too, like when you get to this point at podcasting, they get kind of like it's never hard for me with content, because most time I can spit the guys I go for, they got so much up here. Let's talk about this. Right. But I can see as you get bigger how the money tempts you. And so if a guy pay you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, I put him on, and he might not be shit. You know,
that's what other people are doing that, Joe. Other people are taking the money.
They have to be, because you look at it as just selling a pup. Let's just be real.
Right.
They're gonna generate that even if there's 3 idiots that buy into it from it. And let's be real, I guarantee you they're taking deposits left and right, and so they've got a list, and now they got you, and then. Even because I had people, and I mean, this is ridiculous, but it needs to be said. They call me up and they're like, yeah, screw my deposit on so-and-so. And I'm like, that dude's a scam artist or whatever. And yeah, they got my money and they got their $500 or $800, and they're just wiping themselves clean. They're tired of waiting. They're tired of talking. The guy won't give them the money back. They don't have a litter for them, you know, so they just move on, you know, and take their loss. But there's people out there that make a living just screwing people, collecting deposits.
We got it.
Yeah.
We got the same shit going on, taking deposits from multiple people, 10 people a month, and never sending them a dog. But somebody else called and said they got all the money now, they want to buy a dog, and they tell them to send it to them right now, send the money. A couple of the women that got taken advantage, their husbands finally stepped in, made a little fake email, were sending an email from another thing. So then they called these people, and it was women. It was women, and nothing against women, but it would blow my mind that it would be women doing that. You know, you think men would be the dirty ones.
It's funny. We have a joke between some of the friends of mine that it's always the women. No, but
it's crazy.
It's weird like that. But
women mad at me, yelling at me.
Some of these stories might be a man, but no, I'm kidding for y'all out there.
There's a lot of incredible ones, but they're just as shady as some of these guys, man. Taking deposits for years. You know, I'm dying of cancer. They got a cancer story up on their website, and people feel bad.
Go fund me or something. Yeah.
And then the other breeders that are just garbage breeders, like you're talking about. What I do sometimes, it's a funny one that I do sometimes. I get so pissed off with how some people have gotten taken advantage of, and finally I'll be like, listen, you know what? Tell him that Tony Scandy said the 500's on me. I'm going to give you their deposit. You're not going to lose the money because they're ready to walk away from it, just like with you. I said, listen, man, I don't even want you to walk away from it. Tell your breeder specifically that Tony Scandy from Scandy Cane Corsos said to keep the 500. It's on him. I'm going to take it as a deposit towards my dog. It's on the house. They can have it. Now you're going to get a quality dog. You're not going to have to deal with that unstable shit. You know, you got screwed over. That person went and probably drunk a bunch of alcohol on it, smoked some crack. Some of these people, as bad as it is. That one guy, what's his name, Joe? That crackhead Marino guy.
Oh,
this guy's all on meth in another state.
Bad.
He's hiding in Mexico or some shit. puts up YouTube shit like he's some breed. He's never bred a breed in his life. He's never bred but one mixed breed litter, and he's claiming he's an expert, criticizing dog foods that are incredible dog foods. That's the problem. TikTok famous, YouTube famous.
Yeah, they got a bunch of views.
Yeah, I never engaged with him. He wanted engagement from me. I wouldn't even give it to him because if I give him engagement, now there's some kind of, hey, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, he's his rival. He must be his equal, or he might be, some bullcrap. Yeah, that's what they want.
If you watch a video of the guy for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he'll contradict himself 18 times. And if you watch it and you don't see that, you're an asshole. You know what I mean? Like,
I
know you deserve it.
You know what, Tony?
Exactly.
What's so bad about that is the guys that fed him the information.
Oh, yeah. All those idiots too.
Oh, I know who they are. And I'm
Joe will tell you.
Yeah, why would you?
We got some idiots in this breed, man.
Throw it against the wall. In front of
exactly.
Hey, what are those dudes' names? You can say their names because you can say those two. We have the old guy that used to act like he was the shit. He ain't never owned a dog, educating people, giving breed information. We got that. We got that problem in the Corso. Let me say them two assholes that made the comment towards me on the internet. The FU comment. Oh, FU Tony Scandy.
You talking about the old world boys?
The old world guys. Yeah. I called the dude on the phone. I was a little bit pissed off with it. It's a funny clip. I wouldn't care if you showed it on here. So I called the dude on the phone. Now, here's what I did. I don't know if you ever did this one. Guy's a nobody. He's talking about these old lines of dogs that nobody has, nobody wants. I mean, maybe a couple idiots.
There's a reason. That it's no good. Yeah.
And I called him on the phone, started asking him about his dogs, changed the voice a little bit, started playing like little uneducated, wanted educated from him. Teach me this, teach me that. The whole thing was supposed to be recorded. The guy that did the recording said, oh, man, I messed it up. I had my headset on, so it didn't record. I got a little bit of the clips on my phone. It's funny as shit. But talking to him about all the stuff. And then finally, after he's saying all this dumb shit, and I'm like, do you hear what you're saying, man? And I'm like, well, how many champions have you produced? Because you're saying these guys have never done anything. Truthfully, I never produced a champion. Oh, okay. So you're a working guy. So you got a bunch of working dogs, some working titles. Well, no, I don't have any of those either. I'm like, well, dude, what the fuck did you do? Did you do anything? Yeah. What did you do? Well, you got like 3 of these dogs that aren't even papered that you're talking about this old shit that nobody wants crossed with Rottweilers. And, you got the best blood in the world. You're the only retard in the world that thinks it's the best blood in the world. Told him the shit straight out. And then I asked him, I said, man, who else? Is there other people that want it? Oh, yeah, there's a whole group of people. I'm like, so you mean there's other idiots as dumb as you are out there that want this shit? I mean, there's not a person in the planet that will want this. 98% of the world knows better than to even touch that shit. It's not even real dogs. Right, and this is what he's basing this whole program. And this is what I like, he said. But he called me out like he was being a smartass. Hey, I called him out. I got a fight coming up April 19th. I called him out. I said, listen, man, why don't you come be my opponent? You want to talk all that shit? You big little bodybuilder or whatever. Come up and take ass whipping, man. I'm an old man. I'm 55. How old is that guy, Joe?
25, 26. I
said, come on up, man. Come on up. You want to talk all that shit? Well, I really didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I just, it's just the internet. Oh, you're trying to use my name to draw internet to you? I'm real. I'm telling it to you on the phone. I'm not saying it on Facebook. I'm not phony. Yeah. Come on, bring your ass up here. Offer them $5,000 to come up here and take the fight. Get in the ring with me. you can beat my ass in the ring. You could shine. You could be the guy to beat Tony Scandy's ass, the biggest breeder in the country, or you could get an ass beaten from an old man. You know what I mean? He was begging him to come up.
It's funny too, Tony, because they got these guys. They be having old heads behind them that hadn't did shit.
Right.
You know them like John Ketchin. Right. And as soon as somebody make a comment, calling me, who made that comment? Trying to call police on people in the comment section. Man, you crazy, bro? Then they got this one dude named Zach Runyon that's stalking my Facebook page, stalking my sending me crazy videos. Like this dude's like a real
jealous as hell of you.
Yeah, for real,
jealous of your success.
And talking and making all those threats, man. You wouldn't put your big toe across the state line of Arkansas and letting me know about it. So you cut the.
You're breaking up, Joe. You're what do you got?
Okay, but anyway, I'm done. I ain't gonna get too much on them boys. All them false threats.
It's crazy.
Across the Arkansas state line. I tell you.
Not a chance.
No, they won't do it. They just talk shit, make all those
Like keyboard warriors. We call them keyboard warriors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll beat your ass. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, but they're the type dudes you got to worry about on the internet. But one thing, Tony, like the Corso, we have our differences in the Corso world. But one thing about it, if you get on that screen acting like you know something that you don't know,
right,
they will hang you up about they'll hang you up by your ankles.
Oh yeah, no
Corso
doubt.
world do not play that stuff.
Right.
They don't do it.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway.
I hate to get into it with people, but I have got into it with people once in a while. It takes a lot to draw me out on those groups and stuff and comment and stuff. But sometimes it's just so bad, the information that people are giving. It's like, come on, man, you don't have a clue. You need to stop.
Well, I'll tell you something I just made me think of when you said that. There's a lot of groups out there, breed specific. And just like the clubs are taking over that, and they're taking over these clubs to where when I post, and I don't even do it anymore, but I've tried to help educate people. They block me. They won't let me post.
Yeah, they don't want you no part of it.
And so and then as soon as someone wants a pup or whatever, they control who they tell and what they allow and stuff like that. It's like a little monopoly, and that they high five each other the whole time throughout the group. If you look to try to revenue
sales for all their little group,
trying to get sales because their dogs are trash. But when you're a new person, you're coming on, that's the first thing they check is internet search and Facebook and Instagram and all this TikTok crap. And unfortunately, that's the first thing that pops up and people jump on it,
They're the victims, man. They're the victims. There's a lot of victims out there in all breeds, man. In all breeds, not just our two breeds. All the breeds. Shepherds.
People say they do research and it's 2 days of it, and the research, like you said, they had 10,000 likes. They bought, because I think people can do that. I see it out there, man. It's crazy. It's sad.
Right.
And I don't know if this is something about the whole interview things too. It's funny. I don't know if it's off topic or whatever, but I get a lot of, people wanting to get a dog, and then they're trying to ask these questions from these interviews that other people have done. And they don't know what they're talking about either. I don't know if they're just trying to impress me, and they don't have to do that. Like, why do you need a dog to do this and this? Have you ever done this before? No, I never done any, protection work or whatever the breed is. They're trying to act like they're going to show. They never showed a day in their life, or they're going to, and they're trying to use these words that somebody came on and typed or this and that. And man, they're actually pushing me further away from them. I don't want to deal with somebody that's going to be telling, they're coming in my yard critiquing my dogs in front of me, like trying to show off in a way. And I'm like, man, you're not, you want to talk dogs? Well, I'll take the dog apart. I'll do this, I'll do that. But you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Crazy.
You'll tell them. They'll tell you stuff that they just heard somebody say. You look at me like you do know that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Right.
Like you're totally
like does he have lockjaw often, or something stupid like that? I'm like, what? Or I don't know. Have you tried putting your finger in his butt or something? If he gets in a fight, my buddy, I'm like, what?
Right. All insane.
I got a breaking stick, man. Just stupid stuff. But
Right, man. Well, I really appreciate you guys kind of coming on here and enlightening people, because I'm not trying to knock anybody, but it is a lot of about 90% of the people you see on social media, YouTube, and they're not even no one significant in their own breed. Not even me. Don't get hung up on me. I just got this show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We like the show, Joe.
Everybody but you, Don.
You're doing the right shit, Joe. Listen.
Well, and then the first thing they do, it's you should make a post about a breeder starter kit, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, make your t-shirts, get your hats or whatever, let's do like it is and sell your merch. I hadn't had one litter yet, but that's what they do, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Money for a lot of people, man. It's just the saddest thing in the world. Listen, here's the reality. If me and you pretended we didn't make any money at this long in it, we'd be lying to people. You know what I mean? But we make money because we've been very successful running incredible breeding programs, standing behind all of our dogs with everybody that they go to. So yeah, I'm not going to lie to anybody and say that I don't make money. I pay my taxes on it, but you know, the reality is this is my life, morning till night, every day for the last 30 something years. I better get paid something to do it. You know what I mean? And here's the thing: I love what I do. You know, I've done other things. You know, I've managed some professional fighters. You know, I've worked at some car dealerships. I've owned a car dealership. I've owned a restaurant. I've owned a nightclub. So I've done a lot of things where I've done well. But this is what I love to do. Only thing I'd rather do than this is I'd love to have been able to be a professional fighter or a baseball player. But this is the next thing I like, and I'm happy as hell that I can do this, and it is my life. It's enabled me to be able to coach my kids. You know, I coach my son, all of his buddies, all through baseball on my own time. A lot of parents can't do that stuff. You know what I mean? I coach my daughter's teams. Parents can't do that stuff. You know, it's helped me to be a huge part of my kids' lives, you know what I mean, and other kids, and help little kids out. So, you know, as much as I have made, it's not like it's just, hey, I'm pocketing all this money. I'm giving back. I'm giving back to the community. I sponsor teams. You know, these fights that I do, you know, I'm old. It's called Masters. It generates a bunch of money for the kids in the gym to be able to go compete nationals, regionals. Not many people are going to get in that ring still at these ages, or any ages. You got to work your ass off. Like I try my ass off for a good 3 months to get ready for that. The next guy I'm fighting, he's a he ranked number 2 in the nation. He just fought a guy that was the 3-time national champion. I mean, he looked great. I thought he beat the guy. They gave it to the other guy. It was in his hometown. But you know, I'm in some serious shit. I got a dangerous fight coming up.
Yeah. When I met you, who was it? They took the fight from you.
A good dude, man. I just seen him yesterday at a fight show, man. Really good dude. Kid named Jason Cosa. Boom Boom Mancini's nephew. Boom Boom Mancini's nephew.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Great kid, man. I mean, just a great kid.
Yeah.
We went to war, man. 2 standing 8 counts in the first round.
Well, and let me bring this up. I got to. Now, I'm not a fighter, nothing per se. I mean, but I can see your dogs in you. Does that make sense? 100%. You're not going to quit. You're not going to give up. You're an honest man. You're going to tell it like it is. You know, that's the type. These people need to find a breeder like that. If I want to breed, and I guarantee you, I don't even know them, but these breeders that are sorry are they're you know, they can't stand up for themselves. They're sissies. They don't know what work is like, real work. They don't know, because you say it like I do, right? And it's not my full-time job. So I do it on the side. So that's why I don't need to sell puppies. I tell people I'll keep my whole litter. I don't, you know, and I'm like you don't have a problem with it. You have people out there, but you got to find somebody that's I feel like I'm like my dogs, you know, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to, you know, and people don't see it. It's like pruning a garden, you know, you got to keep pruning it. You can just put it in the back corner, and same with these dogs, and just not touch them, not pull the weeds out, not any of this stuff. And it's going to go to hell, you know, but if you're in there and, you know, you're modest, because I can just tell you're constantly pruning, you're constantly, you know, selecting, evaluating, working, you know, it's just natural to you. And people need to find a breeder like that. You know, in my breed, the worst ones are the ones that are, you know, they ain't got a backbone. They're nothing. They don't know what a day of work is in their life. They just want an easy ticket. And unless you put in the years of the losses at the beginning and this and that, you know, and like you said, now I post a litter and it doesn't take long at all. You know, it's gone because of the years and the experience and the whatever else and just the straight talk, you know, but people don't get that. Yeah, no, and that's important. Find a breeder that's like the dog, you know. I mean, they say people are like that. I mean, I can tell you, if I get a Corso, it's going to be from you. You know what I'm saying? Someone that's the way I see it. And these old timers that bred these dogs, they were like that. You know, my line goes back to the older stuff, and these guys were like that. I can't push it enough. And I feel like, you know, I look at my dogs for inspiration type stuff, you know. I'm like, he's not quitting, I'm not going to quit, you know. I love that. That's awesome, man.
It's something that I could tell you're the same way. And here's the big thing that what we do, what you do and what I do, I know it's the same thing. And I know Joe's just getting involved, but he's doing the same type of thing. We love what we do. I love to breed. I love to be competitive. I want to have the best. I want to be the best. So I hold something back, it doesn't turn out. There's 1 million pet homes for that dog. I ain't using it. I have no use for this, but it's a great pet home. You know, I have no use for this one, but it's going to go into a great pet home. This one, I don't like the character, No, I'm not going to screw somebody over and send it to some family, some innocent family, and risk something to their child or somebody getting bit. Because you'll see all these things about, oh yeah, you can, this be a great dog, but not for a family with kids. I mean, that means if it's not for a family with kids, you're saying that it was possibly going to bite kids. It's aggressive to children. Put it to sleep. It's not.
Yeah.
Don't give it to nobody. Don't take somebody's money. A lot of these other breeders are taking the people's money, starting breeders up with that shit. This should be called.
I had people cussing me out the other day, called me up, this guy, because I had one trying to find, a home for.
Right.
And there's a lot of reasons why, not to get into it now.
Yeah,
but and the main thing, she didn't get along with, she's dog aggressive as heck, especially bitches. She's going to fight them, period.
Right.
And this guy's trying to convince that he knows what he's doing, and he has 3 other dogs, and he takes them to dog parks, and he can. I know, man. And, you just don't want me to have it, I said, I don't want you to.
No. Because he's a master trainer and knows it all, and he's going to
exactly
everybody. And you're telling him this is by nature, this is what she is. I'm not putting it in your home. I'm not putting it with you. You'll find the right home for the dog, 100%.
Right.
I see it, man. I see the same shit all the time.
Exactly. And I got a guy from New York coming. He's so excited, perfect, experienced. It's just, it works out. And you know what? Like I tell everybody, and if it don't, she's staying here till the day she dies.
Right, exactly.
It's, it's not that big of a problem. I could find some, people will come. But the same thing, it has a place, you know?
Right, exactly.
Hey, Brian, let me ask you this. How careful are you about showing your dogs in lights for like hunting, doing, a lot of times guys advertise their dogs doing bite work and being
So my dogs are more like old school lines. And I don't even like to post a lot of pedigrees out there, because I could sell dogs just based off of pedigree, because you have those pedigree chasers and stuff like that. Or, I test mine on hogs, raccoons, whatever. And I get a lot of this, man. A lot of you like, send me a video, record this. Well, there's a lot of reasons. For one, when you're out there with a knife running and you're trying to keep up with your dogs, and you're, it's recording is just, and I see these people that do this, these other breeders and stuff. And I'm not talking about some, I'm just talking about the 5-second clip, or the setup after the kill. I kill so many, I don't need to prop the hog up on my tailgate and have my dogs facing forward and have, whatever, smear blood on my face for that perfect picture. A lot of times it don't even look like that. They're not even that bloody, or they're not. I've seen these ones, man, and I'm sorry, I'll say it. They got the dog had, it looks like and I know what they do, because I know the tricks, man. I do it. They let the dog chew on some raw meat or some crap where it's all red all over, and then they get it next to the hog. They're not like that. Sometimes, but they're just wanting clicks and likes and views, and I'm just not about that. I don't want these idiots to come over. Because the people that fall for that has never hunted a day in their life. And again, it's just a sales tactic. Or you have the Karens out there that if I did show a video of it, they're going to get upset, because let's be real, it ain't as pretty as people paint the picture. Those dang raccoons aren't no joke, trying to gouge the dog's eye and stuff like that. And it's just what it is. But that's reality. Don't get in the chicken coop. I let my dogs take care of it. Whatever it's going to be, and then the hogs and stuff. But yeah, there's these fake pictures or stay-offs, these 2 dogs going at it. I'll show you some that I got some that won't go at it at all, but you don't want, they'll still, doesn't mean they're not gonna. I've seen Chihuahuas that are just yapping and stuff. But again, it's bad for the light, it's bad for the breed, and it's not something I want to advertise. People, they'll text either question mark on a puppy, or how much, or 2 words, or I want the one with fire. I want one that all this stupid stuff. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not replying to you if you write stupid shit like that. Don't come to me and say, I don't know, just stupid stuff. Like, or 1-word question or whatever. I'm not gonna write you back, man. Or the profiles. They have these profiles where there's no profile, or a picture of I don't know what, something, just an object, and you just started Facebook a week ago. It's probably a troll just trying to, or I don't know what, but I'm not going to reply back to you. It's ridiculous, man.
Right. Hey, guys, I'm gonna take a few questions, then we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna read some of these comments. socializer rider. That's why I'm a dog keeper and not a breeder. I do have a litter now and then. I only do word of mouth, but only after pups are 10 weeks. I take no deposit, no first picks. Damn. Well, what you doing? Okay. How do you, Michael Johnston, are you from Arkansas? How do you start a dog kennel that's going to be a good representation of the breed if a reputable breeder is gatekeeping their pedigree from you because you are new? Y'all want to tackle it?
Well, I'll start. Like, first of all, I didn't get in it just I'm going to be a breeder. And I think that's already kind of where you already kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because why do you think you're going to be better than me? And I know that sounds cocky and I'm not trying to be that way, but it's facts. Why are you going to get something that, and so let me just tell a little bit about how I got into it. I kept dogs. I always had dogs, whatever. And I like to have a backyard breeding every now and then. I was a kid. I didn't, my dad had pit bulls and stuff, but I always thought that would be cool. But where I'm going with it, fast forward to I had a breeder in Macon, Georgia. I got my dogs from. I have a twin brother. We do the dogs together, and I would keep a couple of them because in reality, it's no fun, man, having 15, 20 dogs. It's not fun having 6 or 7 you got to clean and stuff like that for. So I had a breeder I'd go to and get a badass dog anytime I want. Didn't have to feed it. Didn't have to breed it before it got too old. Didn't have to keep them alive and not worry about the bloodline dying and all this other stuff. And I know I'm being dramatic, but I could tell you some stories where you could lose a bloodline overnight. And I was going to get a pup from him later on, and he up and had an aneurysm and died. I reached out to other breeders, and they were all dickheads. They only worried about my money, or they didn't care where it was going, or I was going to show it, or I was going to all this stuff like that. So now I'm looking around and I'm like, I can't find another dog. Well, I already had 2. And I said, well, I ended up breeding a litter. And then a year or so later, 2 years, I had another litter, me and my brother. And before you know it, I'm in it. I kind of fall into it because there's trash out there and I can't see what I want. Until you've owned some good dogs and some bad dogs, because I get this too. A new breeder starting out and they never even seen a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. They got 3 of them. It could be the 3 worst Staffordshire Bull Terriers in the world. And they're talking to me and people on the internet. I got the baddest Staffordshire Bull Terriers in the world. They're the greatest I ever seen. You only seen 3. They could be the 3 worst in the entire world. And you wouldn't know it, You got to have some good ones and some bad ones. And so sometimes I just breed, or I just want to, unless you've done breeding, you're talking about starting it. How do you even know what to look for in the pedigree if you don't know one dog in the pedigree? You have no experience with the dogs, and unless you have done it for several years and you like a certain type. I get people that do that. They just want to breed to my dog for a pedigree, because of my pedigrees. And I tell them I get upset with it. They want to use a stud dog, and I don't. I'm trying to help them out. Okay, well, what are you trying to better? What are you trying to keep? What do you don't want? I want this one because of its pedigree. Well, you just told me you didn't want one that's too amped and too high drive and too much. That one's 100% amped. He's crazy. You don't want, or I want one that's not as lazy as, well, that dog's lazy. Why are you going to ask me? I'm a breeder. I know my line. I know 8, 9, 10, 11 generations I've handled. I can tell you what direction to go. And so, it's better you come to me telling me what you're looking for, what you want, and I'll just be straight and tell you, I don't have it for you, or this is what you want, and then try to learn the pedigrees. I don't know. Maybe I read the question a little wrong, but that's why. Now, if you're wanting one for breeding, and maybe I think you would have to be a breeder that's done it for 15, 20, 30, at least 10 years before they're asking about a pedigree. Because a lot of times these bloodlines are hyped anyways, and it's the breeder. I tell everybody this: you got to know the breeder, because I know people with similar blood to mine, and they don't have standards like me. They don't have the criteria and stuff, the boxes they don't check like I check. So a generation, 2 generations, 3 generations in, it ain't the same dog. It ain't the same blood. In my thoughts. What do you think about that, Tony?
No, I know exactly what you mean with that. I mean, like, so many people talk about pedigrees, and like a lot of the people throughout the country, when you're calling a lot of these breeders, first thing they're going to tell you, I got Scandipio bloodline. I got Scandipio bloodline. That's how they try to sell their dogs. Some of these people got Scandipio bloodline from 30 years ago, 25 years ago. They don't have what I have now.
Yeah.
Some of that shit from 30 years ago, you don't want anyway. It's no good. That's just the reality. I'm not stuck on that old shit that was the problems.
And so it's the breeder, and you're saying exactly right. It's the person that's making the selection.
Right. We're changing that stuff up, man. We're getting better dogs. We're continuously breeding better and better and better. But like I tell a lot of the people, even people that have got stuff from me 15 years ago, it's not what I have now. Still some nice stuff. I mean, I produced a lot of nice stuff for the years, but it's going to continue. Like, I'm not ready to be at a standstill. I've had a lot of breeders that I see at shows and stuff. I'm kicking butt at the show circuit. A couple people, they're just watching. Some people have stuff in the ring. They're like, hey, Miss Scandy, I'm going to catch you in about 5 years. You mark my words. I'm going to have shit just like that in 5 years. You might. What makes you think I'm going to be right there in 5 years?
Exactly.
Getting ahead
hey, that's the biggest problem is breeders that already, there's no limit. You keep going.
Right.
Yeah. And I want to get a dog from you. And if I got one, it would be like, you need to get a dog first, and then you find one or meet your dogs or whatever. And I want the dog should make the pedigree. The pedigree shouldn't make the dog. You know what I'm saying? I want to get, and I said, because I've done this, people's blown me away with some of their dogs. And I shouldn't say that. I'm surprised with some of their dogs. And I'm like, dang. Then I'm saying, what's the pedigree on that dog? I'm not writing them and see a dog and say, what's the pedigree on it? What's the pedigree on it? I could give a crap until it does something that impresses me. Right. I don't give a crap because that dog don't mean nothing. Right. But as soon as it does something that impresses me, then suddenly that pedigree's gotten important to me. And I'm like, who's the parents? Who's the dad of that? Who bred that? That's what I'm asking, and go from there. But
Right. Well, you know what? It's good to be at the mercy of the breeder, especially if you're new to the breed. Like Tony, when I got that girl off Renegade from you, and when it was time to breed her, I asked you which way should I like to go back. I suggest you go back to the breeder you got the dog from.
100%.
You don't know the lines like they do. You don't know. Right. You said, if you listen to me, I'll tell you exactly where to go with it. And that's what we did. We used Rambo.
Right. I'm the same way. And I'll tell you if it's somebody else in another yard. I don't want to, you don't need no more of this stuff. I'll tell them, or I'll tell them, no, you do, or just wait or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like being honest about a stud dog, like when Joe's talking about, is the best thing in the world to do with your people. And like, what I tell Joe, what I tell other people, like I get a lot of people that come to me for stud, and I tell the people, listen, here's the deal. Here's what I've done already. This is what works. This is bulletproof.
Yeah.
You want to go to this one? I haven't even bred them yet. I got one litter out of them. Well, you got 2 litters, I'm like, yeah, and they're like 12 weeks old. I don't know shit.
I piss people off telling them I won't let them use a dog that hasn't been proven yet. Yeah.
Right. I can tell you there's some badass 12-week-old puppies, but that's all they are. I need to see what these are at 12 months old at least. Let me see what he can do when they're 12 months, 14 months. Then I can tell the people, hey, now we're talking. Now you do want to use the dog you talked about. Yeah. I don't like for other people to be guinea pigs. And that's what, like, I have had a lot of people that say, listen,
they do that.
You're doing it. I understand. I'm guinea pigging this boy, but that boy's badass. You're using them, right? I'm like, yeah, if you're using them, I'm using them. And I'm like, on that bitch, absolutely. You're helping me. I tell some people, you're doing me a favor.
Yeah.
I'd love to breed them to that bitch, but here's the
reality. And they're rolling the dice where they're going to get something that I tell people that too. I don't know, so I might not even charge as much or whatever. Exactly. And that dog might be the next thing that I want. Like I'm after on that goal just checked off.
Right.
And so don't be scared to take chances, some of these people. Right. But no, man. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I figured you did exactly the same thing, no doubt.
Right.
Here's the crazy thing. Educated breeders, people that know what they're doing, people that run a successful, good program and have produced a ton of quality dogs. I'm going to tell you a quick story from a long time ago. A gentleman named Alberto Veronese from Italy flew over here. First I talked to him on the phone first. So my buddy Tony Carfagna, incredible friend of mine, had some dogs from me. I grew up with them since he was young. You heard of Carfagna, Cane Corsos. He hasn't been doing it for a long time, but was one of my main guys. Like me and him were tight as like brothers, you know what I mean? Still are. He lives in another state. We don't see each other a ton. But one day he calls me on the phone. He says, hey, T, listen, man, you got to talk to this guy, Alberto Veronese, man. It's you all over again in another country. I'm like, T, man, I don't even know how to speak that shit. I don't have my translator. The one guy that we used to use, he passed away. And no, he speaks like 7 languages. He speaks English. I said, like, how good in English? I've tried to have communication before. He said, Tone, like, as good as me and you, he lived in California before. So I called the guy, and, I'm talking with the guy. I mean, it was like the same shit that I did, just like you. I mean, the same stuff. I never met you in my life. This is the first time we ever talked. Coincidentally, we do almost the same shit. I mean, there hasn't been anything that we do different yet. You got 20-something years in breeding. I might have just a couple more years. That doesn't mean anything. It's the same stuff that we're doing. He was exactly to the T. So then he decided to come over to the United States, come visit some kennels, went to the kennel. Me and him wrote up an exchange program that we were going to offer to all the breeders in the United States and the breeders in Italy. And we wrote it up, man. We took 2 days right now. He stayed with me for a week. Really good dude, man. And just multi-millionaire. His family had millions. So he bought whatever he wanted, whatever dogs he wanted over. He'd go buy whole litters from people all over, bring them, breed them, had his own x-ray machine, had his own vet that would come there. He was spending crazy money, $2.something million in his kennel facility. So I ended up going over there too. But we write up this big exchange program. At that time, I'm actually the president of the breed club. I'm taking it to all my people that are other breeders. He's taking it over there to overseas. Now, we had a lot of Italian breeders that were interested in this exchange program. It was just a straight up exchange program. Like I'd give them a dog. They'd give me a dog that was quality, but it had to have great temperament, great health, have produced quality litters, whether it was a male or female, not fresh new stuff, just that we're taking risk with, stuff that's done good for me and stuff that's done good for them. Several Italian breeders entered into the program. I swapped a lot of dogs with the guys over there, big time breeders. That's what helped me get where I'm at today. They got my stuff over there. And a lot of the American breeders, I take it to all of them. And there was like one person that wanted something to do with it. I'm like, man, this don't even make sense. I talked to my buddy Alberto. I say, Alberto, man, I got bad news. He said, what's wrong, man? I said, I ain't got a breeder over here that wants to do this. Nobody in this club. He starts laughing. He said, I didn't think you would. I said, what the hell? We waste 2 days writing this whole entire program and these parameters for this for. I mean, if you didn't think nobody was going to do it. He said, we just wanted to get your shit over here. We don't really care about this stuff anyway. A lot of them ain't got shit worthwhile. And here's the reality. Think about it. He's telling me, he says, most of these kennels, he goes, I've seen them. I've been to some of them with you, and we've seen the stuff at the show circuit. They're unstable as hell. That's an X right off the bat. If they're not 100% mentally sound, they can't enter the breeding program. And I said, man, I never even paid attention to that. I'm forgetting that these people don't have quality dogs. So it was a great thing that could have happened. Nobody else got into it. I did a big exchange, sent a lot of my dogs over there. The Italian breeders were extremely happy with it. Like I had more bone, more muscle substance. They had better head type, cleaner heads and stuff like that. So it was a great thing. But no, I understand what you're talking about. Pedigrees, everything, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, you got to let some of it go to help out and stuff. But
absolutely.
I've finally come around to that where, I can't be bitching and complaining the shit out there when I'm not trying to, and not that my stuff's superior. I'm always looking for something better. But yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you think you can help something and you feel is good, and too, I have to add this, and I'm sure I see these breeders out there that's been doing it forever, and it's import after import after import after import. They got no line established. They got nothing, and I tell people, well, they're not even keeping nothing off their own dogs. Why don't you just import where they got that? Because that breeder is killing it where they're getting it from.
You know exactly what it is. It's just a sales tactic. It's their sales tactic. It's their sales game.
People love
Here's
that.
what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to be a best breeder in the country.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use no American shit at all because everything bred in America don't compare to the stuff from these other countries.
Yeah.
So I'm going to import the greatest dogs in the world.
Yeah.
We're importing shit from overseas. It's loaded with epilepsy, line breeding on the shit.
They're screwing Americans left and right. Not all of them, but most of them. They get off on that. Not to mention they're mixing everything in it, the poodle, everything else, just to screw. Send them down to here to us. Oh, it's the best. I could tell you some stories with that too. People, guess what? I just imported. I'm gonna take a bitch straight to you. I said, no, you're not. I'm not letting you breed.
And what I did when I imported all mine, I flew to Italy 2 different times. Spent like over a week there. Hand selected my dogs. A lot of these people are bringing stuff over here, and I'm seeing the imports over here. one of the American champions that was a big import that had a big name, the Italians were over there laughing at us like that dog got a totally incorrect head type. It's garbage. It's a pet. It's like the top dog in America. What's wrong with these guys? I mean, this is 30-something years ago, but they're laughing at us. I'm like, man, you ain't sending me none of that garbage. I'm all Italian too, but you guys ain't sending me no shit. So I flew there with Alberto, met with Alberto, went and visited the kennels, and we go to some kennels, and they're showing me all these puppies for sale, and I see some badass adults. And I told Alberto, I said, man, I want that male right there. He's like, man, they ain't gonna sell that dog. I said, give me a price. And they wouldn't give a price. Oh, no, take 3 of these. And they're telling him, translating. He's like, Tony, they'll give you 3 of these for what it would cost for those. They said they're going to grow up and be just so nice. I said, well, that's perfect. I got a great idea. Keep the 3 of those. I'll pay 3 times the price for that male right there. It was a dog, Tito, and I got him, finally got him.
Nice.
The agreement was, and this is back in like 2001 or 2002. Back then, $15,000 we paid for that dog.
Jeez.
They gave me the price, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm going to pay it. And he looked at me, he's like, you're going to pay it. I said, absolutely, man. That dog is badass, temperament, everything about him, hips. I see the offspring. This is a dog that was going in front of the police department in Italy to prove that the breed could do the police dog work. And they said, listen, here's the deal. You have to pay half up front. And this was like in November. He's going in front of the police department in January. And after January and February, we're going to do some more breedings. In February, you can get the dog and pay the rest of it, and we'll get him over. I said, no, I'll come over and get him. You ain't sending me no shit. It's not the same dog. It's hard to trust everybody. So we flew back over there, brought him over here. He's in a lot of the pedigrees that I have today. And people back then was like, you're out of your mind. What the hell's wrong with you? You pay $15,000 for a dog. You got the best studs in the country. I'm like, listen, I got some badass dogs. They have that over there already. They're using my stuff. That dog is going to be a huge asset to this country and to me. And I brought him over here, put him in the show ring, smoked everything at a big weekend, like a national specialty weekend, kicked ass, winners dogs all through, championed out quick as hell. And he did great things for me, man. So the $15,000, I had to partner up with somebody. I didn't have it all right at the time. $7,500 a piece. Would play like $2,000 to ship them over here. People were coming out of the woodwork to breed to them. Now you ain't breeding to them. I'm keeping him right now exclusive for a little bit. After a while, when I seen what he was capable of doing, I mean, we probably, honest to God, brought in $45,000 in stud service on that dog in like a 3-year period to quality bitches, to all badass females. Nothing average.
Better in the breed. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I turn people down all the time right now for stud service. They'll call and I'll be like, listen, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. Well, listen, I know you're only at 2,500 or 30, we'll pay you 6,000 or 5,000. I said, listen, I'm not being rude. You can't pay me 10,000. Well, you wouldn't take 10,000. I said, no, because here's the problem. The shit you're trying to breed to has epilepsy deep in the lines. Well, I know, but everybody says your lines can fix everything. You got the cleanest shit in the world. I'm like, listen, I'm not a miracle worker. My blood ain't miracle workers. If I breed into that shit and take your 10,000 that you're offering me for stud service, when that dog produces epilepsy, your bitch, guess what's going to happen? Oh, Tony, Scandy stud dogs producing.
Yeah. I almost brought this up a minute ago, and I got sidetracked. Exactly.
They're
going to call it your shit that did it. It's not mine. It was his.
Stud dog's fault.
They need the blood of Jesus for that day.
Yeah, people get all pissed off, but I'm like, but you can fix this. Maybe or maybe not. And anything that comes out with that problem, it's going to be, steadfast to that. Yeah, because the other breeder's been hiding all that shit for years.
Not telling nobody shit.
Yeah.
Guys like you that have been doing it as long as I have, like when people talk to me, they're like, well, how do you know this? I've been doing this 30-something years. I know every line in this United States, most of the lines in the other countries, the positives, the negatives of all of them. And
I love it when they go somewhere else or they don't even mention it to me. And, I get kind of close to some of these people because it's funny. It's always the ones that bother me for 2 or 3 years or, wanting something, then never pulling the trigger. And they just show up with some trash later. Right. And if you would have just mentioned, I would have told you not like this has this problem or that problem. And they're living with it now.
Too late. They call you after they bought it.
Yeah.
You call me after you bought it. I mean, I could have told you before you bought it. You could have said, well, what do I do with it now? Fix it. Give it to somebody as a family pet.
Exactly.
Right. I just paid $15,000. I imported it. I'm like,
I love it. Yeah, they paid more than what they could have got something from me or something there. Yeah. They fell for it. They think it was more money. It was better. It was this. It was imported. It was whatever. Yeah. Right.
And there are some good people out there overseas too. There's some good people.
Oh, there are. I just sent a guy. Actually, some of my blood. Right. Mine came from there forever years ago.
Right.
And so But over there, man, it's gotten crap too.
Right,
But
right.
again, you can't be kennel blind. You got to,
Exactly, yeah.
just if you see a good dog, it's where you find them,
No matter
So
where, yeah.
I'm excited for him to get him over. I sired the litter off of him right before he left. I had a bitch in heat, so I did a breeding, and I got him now, and I'm keeping the whole litter except for one. I let go to somebody that I'm a nice guy. I guess I get people that call me up, and I didn't even tell them about a litter, and they're asking me, and I said, all right. So I offered one to go, but regardless, yeah, I mean, people just don't get it. It's so much of this, man. It's so much of that.
Right. Hey guys, I think I'm about to wrap it up here. Let me, I'm not going to go through, it's just too many comments and questions, but this is Rain. Rain has been doing those breed profiles for us, and he'll be doing more stuff. And he's a reptile guy, so he's going to start. I know we got some snake breeders and some reptile breeders, so he's going to start bringing reptile content to the channel. So y'all going to see a lot more Rain. Tony, we need to give a shout out to somebody. Dennis Antonio at Limelight won
solid dude.
Yeah, what did he win? The best of breed at the West.
He won the Westminster, absolutely. Westminster best of breed. Very nice dog, man. He produced it. It's his production.
That's awesome. That's the best, man.
One of the guys that came up under you. Man, I'm gonna take this one comment. This is the last one. This is the last one, guys. Then we gotta get out of here. This is Michael Johnston. He says, why can't someone new make a living being passionate about a breed? I have enough money to live comfortably without breeding. It wouldn't be a business for profit, just someone want to produce a good dog. I don't think they're knocking new breeders. I think it's just
not at all.
Yeah. Do you, man? That's fine. We're just saying, find the right mentors and just know, there's gonna be, I mean, my wife packed her bags today and said she was leaving. I'll be honest with you, okay? She came back home, but there's times where these dogs, man, that people don't understand what it takes to really do them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just talking real, right? Not to mention, you got dead puppies. You got ones that maybe if they do come out, something's wrong with them, you put them down. Like, are you willing, so just kind of think that stuff through, because that's stuff we don't glorify and stuff. Or you got breedings that don't make, you spend a lot of money, you have accidents that happen, like accidents as far as, you need a maybe emergency C-section. I mean, stuff happens, right? It costs you pay for a stud fee, you lost out your ass, and now you lost the whole litter, and again, you lost your best friend, a dog that you love. Maybe the mother dies from it, or there's so many things that can go wrong. Pyometria. You can get a dog and it not work out. And so now the right thing to do is to cut your losses, get that works. Okay. So that's all we're saying. There's a lot to it. So don't see these glorified breeders out there that are showing off their Mercedes and their Rolls Royces and their whatever. They worked hard for that, and it's not as easy as people think. It's just starting out. But no, I recommend anybody that's willing to put in work, because it's hard work. And when I see other breeders doing it, I respect the heck out of them, man. And that's just awesome, But but no, I think it's just, for me, it's more just make sure you know what you're getting into, and talk to the right people. And if you do make mistakes, you're going to make a lot of them, and just kind of correct it. But you don't get no holidays, you don't get no vacation. It's fixing stuff all the time. Something happened, whatever. Had one eat a dog house, a hole in it the other day. I'm patching, pull their teeth out. You got all kind of stuff, man. That can happen. Mine tore up the air condition. I should have had something around it a long time ago. One decided they wanted to eat on it. Just all kind of stuff like that, man, happens, and they're dogs, and you can't be mad at them. But and it depends on the breed. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Right.
And then I want to put my 2 cents in on it. And one of the reasons I started this show, because it's like I was, I'm a dude that lives. I'm on the go all the time, so my information, I like to get it different ways, maybe some audio. But the real conversations happen off the screen. That's where your real education comes from. but it is a bunch of movements to stop dog breeding. You look at other countries, what's going on. They tightening up on certain breeds, even training. You know what I'm saying? They're going to ban certain training tools here in a minute. So I think with guys like y'all, we need to really get in front on the education piece, because it's all kind of movements going on against dog breeders and dog trainers.
Absolutely. They already try to get you. You have a mill or something, then you're a dog fighter. It's sad. It's sad, man. Break-in stick. I'm scared to have a break-in stick around because someone's going to assume that, well, it's just a safety tool. You know what I mean? But people take it the wrong way, or having a history book on the breed that talks about, dog fighting history, and heaven forbid someone comes over, sees medicine for, wormer or antibiotics or whatever, and then suddenly, he got books, he got treadmills, he got break-in sticks, I mean, it's sad, but you're right. We do need people to get out there and know that. I mean, these tools, they love running, they love exercise, and they love, and being a responsible breeder does not mean not having stuff. It means you need this stuff,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll let y'all close it. Tony, you can start out by closing it out, telling people how to get in touch with you. And guys, this is one of the top breeders that's been around a long time. If he ain't on YouTube, but this is one of the real foundation guys that's on the ground that a lot of people look to for information, and his name is all in your pedigrees. but Tony, I'll let you say your closing things, and then Brian,
my team, Joe, is you know to deal with me, man. I appreciate all the kind words and the respect, but I'm not on here to solicit myself at all.
Yes,
the deal. My phone rings nonstop. You've been on the phone with me. I had to turn my phone off, man.
Yeah,
the shit's off. I got probably 40 text messages in the last hour or whatever we've been on the phone. So, I never go on anywhere, try to solicit myself for sales. That's not me. I'm the total opposite of that. I'm on here to help you out and to help everybody out in the different breeds all through the world. And to just, my thing is, don't look me up. But the main thing to not do is, don't think these TikTok people are famous, man. These YouTube, this Instagram shit. 98% of your Instagram people that are out there that you think are famous, they're computer geeks, man. They've been on the shit. They're just trying to sell. It's a game, man. They'll sell anything. If shoes tomorrow come up to be the top seller, or Chihuahuas, they're going to be in the Chihuahuas. They're going to make a Instagram and have the shit jumping through fire and take him out and put him in front of Lamborghinis and shit. Like he talked about Lamborghinis and all the cars. Half of those dudes that got the shit sitting in front of them, they ain't theirs anyway. They rented them. Some of them dudes, they got real shit, but those people got real jobs too, not just from the dogs. I mean, some of the dogs have been sold for crazy money, 200,000, hundreds of thousands. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I've sold dogs for 25, 30,000. Many of them. It's not an uncommon thing. Pups, 15,000. Stuff I held back. People pay crazy money for. They're like, hey, man, I want that. It's just like me when I went and got the dog I bought 20 years ago. I paid it 15,000. You know what I mean? It's just people want quality. But my biggest thing, and the reason I came on, like you guys want to try to educate people out there. It's not TikTok. It's not YouTube. It's not Instagram. Find the real breeders. Go visit kennels. Like, more than welcome to anybody that wants to come visit my kennel, visit my dogs. Please come out. Go visit a million of them first. Go visit 20 other kennels. Come out and visit mine. Learn the breed. Learn the quality I have in comparison. Come here first. Go visit everywhere else. Don't bring 10 cents. I don't want you to buy shit. I tell people all the time, come here with no money, man. I want to show you what the breed's supposed to be. A lot of these breeders out there, you can't even go to their kennels. They won't let you come to their kennel. They'll tell you that they're going to meet you. Oh, listen, it's a long drive. I'm going to have my driver meet you 6 hours into the drive just to save you the trip so you don't have to come. They ain't got a kennel. They got shit jammed in their basement, or like that one woman I told you about, jammed in her garage with a backyard that ain't a backyard. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's some really inferior shit out there. Even on the groups and stuff, a lot of these people claim to be these famous breeders. All these new groups popping up. Majority of that shit, man, you got to sift through it and get to the real people. Most of these people, ask them what some real credentials are. Have you ever worked a dog? Have you ever titled a dog working? Have you ever championed a dog? Can you show me a couple hip x-rays? I mean, can you show me anything? What have you done? Like that one dude I told you about, your one guy that thinks he's a competitor, but they're jack-offs. that old world dude. You know what I mean? They ain't done shit. They're just on the internet talking dumb shit, crazy shit, looking like clowns. And that's sad, man. It's very sad for the breed that we have clowns like that, that we have clowns like that other guy. There's just a lot of clowns. I mean, there's some good people out there that are just pet people that have their little YouTube channels.
Right.
And some of them aren't doing a lot of damage. Some of them might not think they're doing damage, but they are doing damage still. With the shit that they're saying or the things that they're talking about the breed to get a million.
But they're generalizing it like all this way, and they have one dog. Yeah,
making it out some terrible things, and they're all doing it just to try to make 6,000 or 8,000 from YouTube. You know what I mean? Right. There's one woman out there that probably makes more than anybody. She was honest with me. I talked to her a long time ago. She said, "Tony, listen, you should be doing a YouTube channel, man. This is what you should be doing. I'm making 8,000 a month. You should be doing this. Your thing will blow up, man." I'm like, listen, I'm not into that. I love the dogs. I do my thing. I take care of my kids. I coach the kids. I really don't have time to do that. Well, you don't even have to do anything. Just go walk around the yard. Lady's making like 8,000 a month. The only bad thing about her is she's professing like she's a breeder, a real breeder, and she's a real trainer. She doesn't know shit about training or shit out about breeding. And people are following her. It's the blind following the blind. It's like, if she was a person, she'd be Helen Keller. You know what I mean? Like, you're following Helen Keller. She can't see or hear, I don't think, right? It's the blind following the blind. It's extremely unfortunate, man. And he's laughing. He's the same shit, man. Same shit in the breed, right?
I do, yeah.
Tons of them.
Okay. All right. Well, Brian, man, we sure appreciate you. Tony,
thanks for having me, man.
Man, Tony, thanks for being a guest host tonight.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too, Tony, man.
You too,
a lot of respect.
Definitely. Always nice to meet somebody who knows what to do, man, and understands.
Yeah.
Understands. I tell people a lot of times, sometimes, even myself, and you might even say the same thing. For the first 8 to 10 years, I really didn't know that much. I knew kept learning and learning. It took a good 10 years till I really felt like, man, I got a good understanding. But then in another 5, I got way more understanding. Like,
exactly. It's like right now. I say that, man. Every year, it's like I feel like I didn't know nothing last year. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. You're exactly.
Learning, man. And that's what all breeders should do. We always got to keep learning, no matter what. If we pretend that we're done learning and we're this expert, now listen, you're an expert in your breed. It's a fact. We know that. I mean, I like to always try to say modest, but the reality of my next.
No, I know. I'm the same way. But the problem is these liars out there that are saying, confessing this, and we're staying, we're staying quiet,
right?
And they're screwing people. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm not able to give people tours because it's my home and this and that. Right. And I do, like, I have friends that, I had a friend that flown in from Holland, and I have a lot of friends all around the world in this breed. And I do take time with people when they do come. I have a horse boarding facility and stuff here. So, I can, but some people want to take all my time, but I'm willing to try to help when I can.
Right, exactly.
Or find you somewhere somebody that can, or whatever. But bottom line is you just gotta, like you said, get to know the person and talk to them, and you just, I don't know, you can see their dogs and their passion and stuff. You can just talk to them and figure all that out. And like you said, at the end of the day, though, you do need to, see the parents or ask questions about that and so on and so forth, or just you do a search, and like you said in pedigrees, you can pull your name up or this and that. It kind of speaks for itself, but yeah. But thanks for having me, guys, and I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, guys, man. That was a classic right there. So, man, appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks, Joe.
It was fun.
I'll talk to you guys.
Yeah. We'll see.